So, ladies, gentlemen, and everyone in between, do we remember where we were at the end of the last session?
We just got to the capital city.
The city of
Yes,
Amber.
the major human settlement of Karahabu.
What was it mainly human? It's like
Kaharabu.
where it was human and lion people and then elf people. Elf people.
Birds.
It's where the
and
native
birds.
humans live.
Yes. And it's a big-ass city that's built into a tree the size of a mountain.
It's bigger than a mountain,
Yeah.
I think.
And in your quest to find out some way to get the Kawinda, the lion people, to stop angrily killing literally everything, you have discovered that you can go and speak, that if you were to proceed to the Grand Palace, you could perhaps make your way to their diplomatic embassy known as the Pack Speaker.
Such a
And
shame
that
that
he
our
would
one
like to be able to help you.
It's such a shame that the one we have
It's a shame
captain
that
is
we're not
missing
going
half his
back.
foot.
Yes.
It's only one toe. It's a combat injury.
This
And he'll
is-
tell them that if he doesn't want to lose his tongue as well.
I forgot
You're
how
really subtle, Aiden.
I forgot how raw and extra fucking Aiden Amberforth is.
He's a halfling noble, of course he's extra.
Unfortunately, he's not extra in the height department.
Ah!
Roast.
And roast is like my dinner.
So, you've all returned to the caravan. It's about midday with the various information you've acquired. I will let you guys lead off with what you want to do.
Let's drop this guy off. His smell is getting on my nerves.
Christ, my voice.
What do you mean, Amberforth? I'm joking.
Too busy trying to find that song that I forgot to go and get the altar set up.
I don't think you actually need a dice altar. I don't think it actually affects your rolls.
Sometimes it does. Why do you think I put 5 D20s in front of it?
So
This would be me
anyway,
for good
so
ones.
you want to try and get to see the Pack Speaker then?
That's what I'd like. I don't know what everyone else said. Everyone else
It's a good
just
idea.
chatted shit. What's going on, guys? Help me. Live this life with me.
Party
Yeah, I mean-
interaction.
I'd be more than happy to get rid of this dude as well.
Smell is atrocious.
So no one has any problems with let's go to the Grand Palace.
I mean, what else are we going to do?
We're good.
Fair enough.
Okay, is anyone not going, or can we assume the entire party's road tripping this one?
Let's go.
I'm up for road triggering.
Road trip!
Yeah, no, I'm going. Let's do it. Let's drop them off.
Okay, so it's pretty easy for the party to find its way to the Grand Palace. It's the biggest non-tree thing in the city. Outside, you find more guards, and there is a large set of stairs leading up into the main building, which seems to be built directly into the base of the tree.
Fancy.
Fancy.
There are people coming and going. They seem to look a bit more posh and official than the people you've seen in, say, the Merchant District.
Of course.
But not as posh and official as I.
Oh, lordy. So, how do you proceed from here?
I don't Amberforth in the head for that comment. Just joking.
I guess we lead with the best dressed and say that we're ambassadors from the coast.
Well, we're ambassadors from Absalom, from a distant, faraway land.
Those exotic spices.
I
Are we going to have to do this discussion as Sterling?
No, please no. Leave that
I-
shit at the door, please.
make sure that Koba is nearby so that.
Okay, so interpreter front and center.
Yes.
Yeah, that
Oh, yeah.
makes sense.
Let him lead, actually, yes.
I cast Enhanced Diplomacy, which is a cantrip. It gives you +2 on diplomacy checks on whoever it is that's speaking the most.
Okay.
Put it on a bit
Well,
of-
since it's a cantrip, you can pretty much go nuts with it.
Because
Who's-
everyone diplomances.
Everyone gets +2.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a cantrip, so I can cast it on everybody. So yeah,
I would get another +2 if any of them were from home, but I don't think they are.
That'd be
No, I think
hella
you're a bit
rare.
outside Kansas, Toto.
A little.
So what you can see directly from where you're standing outside the steps is the large flight of steps. There is 6 or
shit.
7... What?
From the steps, you can see the steps. No shit.
Yeah, okay, that was a mucked up sentence. I apologize. No, okay. From the base of the stairs, you can see about 6 or 7 guards on patrol, and there appears to be a woman in rather official-looking robes sat on a table just inside the great big doors.
What species is the woman?
Good question. She appears to be human to all intents and purposes.
Okay.
There's a
at
whole
least she's not one of
humanoid.
the lions.
Okay, I guess if she's the most official looking. Should we sidle up and ask for questions?
Probably.
Alright, let's do that then, yeah.
Okay, so as you proceed up the stairs, the guards on patrol, 2 of them do stop and bar your path from entering the doorway
Oh dear.
and ask a question in the native language that Koba promptly translates as, "What is your business in the Grand Palace, strangers?"
I'd say Cawley should be our diplomancer here.
Okay.
I like the echo on that.
Will my speaking be translated through Koba perfectly?
Koba is pretty good at his job.
Sweet. Hail and well met, my dudes. We are from a faraway land whose name I don't remember. I'm sorry.
Absalom.
We are from Absalom. Might not have heard of it. Pretty nice, developing nation. We just picked up this guy. We're hoping to bring him back to you. What do you think? His lion friend, main man.
They kind of look back and forward at each other when Koba finishes speaking and just says, they want you to confirm that you're here to see the Kawinda Pack speaker.
Yeah, him. Yeah, the Rupinda guy.
Probably her.
Her. Yes, one of them. We just wish to trade this person back for a little information about the land.
They motion you to the woman inside the doorway and uncross their spears.
Nice, thank you. Love
And-
the sticks.
And also the fact that we need to get them to leave us the fuck alone.
You guys should come tell me about this then, because I don't know. I'm going in.
Yeah, remember that
I'll
General
go with
Crest
him.
asked you to. General Crest asked you if you could try and get the Kawinda to stop trying to kill Fortune's Landing.
Yeah.
Okay, well let's diplomats the shit out of this. Let's open the table.
Okay.
Send the short ones in.
We need to stand on
So,
each shoulders.
as you approach, the dark-skinned woman behind the rather ornately carved table does look at you and says, in your own language, "Do I understand you're from Absalom?"
You do finally someone who's heard of this great land.
Indeed, it is a pleasure to meet you.
I'll bow and doff my hat.
Yeah, of course.
A pleasure as well.
Do I fit in the building?
You do fit in the building.
I'm still
shit,
riding on
that
your
time.
back.
About fucking time.
I mean, you fit in the main doors because they're big as doors.
We'll have to
It's
oil up
close
the
enough.
arms.
I do whatever it is that is the most courteous thing to do.
So she introduces herself as Oleya Kali, as the spokeswoman for the High Court.
Can you write that down, please?
I will indeed. And just to clarify, the first part is a title.
Oh, that's what you were looking up there on Earth for.
And I'm going to be perfectly blunt, I have no idea if I pronounced that correctly. Because
Let's
I don't
just
speak
nod and say
Swahili.
yes.
Oloyekali.
Oleya Kali.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you basically nailed it. Yeah.
Smart person. Smart bean. Beans!
And she says, I have spoken to many traders from your land since you discovered us. What can I help you with today, travellers?
We found one of your guys in a caravan that attacked us.
You found the Kawinda.
We found a Kawinda, yes.
Ah,
They, I suppose you may know, can be a little aggressive at times, but they
Indeed,
went
they
to
can
attack
be.
us and we captured one of them to bring them back to you.
I see. So you wish to see the pack speaker?
Yes, please, yes.
Nolwazi should be available at the moment, but has your... She looks at Koba. Your guide made you aware of the custom of the High Court.
No, he hasn't. And,
He hasn't mentioned anything.
I gently raise a
Koba?
fist to Koba.
Koba actually shrugs and says, I have never been to the Grand Palace before.
I retract my fist and say, that's okay, buddy.
I have never walked in such esteemed circles, friends.
Now you can say you
I'm
have.
surprised that you were stealing chickens.
The tradition of the High Court is that any may speak to any of the speakers of the races of Kirinyaga, but the first time you address them, it is traditional to bring a gift.
Well, our gift is their hostage.
That's a pretty good gift.
Kali looks kind of awkward about that.
No,
I as a peace bringer to this land, I will give them the wonderful invention we have of whiskey.
Hell,
A toast to a
Question.
new friend.
Is your whiskey just in a cheap bottle, or is it actually in a bottle that declares it to be what it is?
It's a nice flask. It's my personal hip flask. I would give one of my vital needs to these people for the sake of.
A traditional beverage of culture is an acceptable gift.
That's the question, isn't it? That's always the question. What do you get a lion man for Christmas? Fuck's sake.
Give him whiskey. That'll be
Keeps
fine.
me up at night.
It does.
Listen to my reasoning. Whiskey for Whiskers.
Oh, I like that.
I don't really have anything of worth.
I mean, I can make it a full meal. I'm bringing halfling food with us.
I have
The
as well.
cuisine of my culture as a peace offering.
That might be accepted at that. Very well, we shall proceed within if you would like to follow me.
Right, could
Hopefully
write
this
big
one doesn't
sweet
turn its
jam.
nose up like the other.
So, what about me? Can I go any further, or...?
Well, they're about to head through another giant set of double doors.
We just assume this place accepts all races and that it's big enough for you to want.
Well, I mean, this is the grand palace that is designed to essentially be...
Grand.
It might be
Code-
like a regular-sized building for someone of Rowan's stature.
Pretty much. Like, Koba would have explained this to you, and I forgot that he was supposed to give this explanation. But the point of the Grand Palace is that it's sort of like... It's the meeting place for all the various species of the continent. Like,
Not
it's
even from
neutral
this planet.
ground.
I mean, somewhere like this has to have some form of megafauna.
Oh, hell yeah, it does.
Exactly.
Can I just quickly grab like a fucking planning permission form so that Rowan can have like a house that fits whenever we finish with all this?
But you do notice that as Cawley comes out from behind the table, she's not as human as she looks.
Ooh.
Because those of you that are well-travelled in your own lands would recognise the concept of a centaur. However, her lower half is not so much that of a horse, as a horse that is seemingly covered in white or black stripes.
This is zebra.
Zebra!
That's
amazing.
kind of cool.
What is the name of this species? Can I write them down?
Zebrator.
Oh.
Are you going to ask her what her species is called?
I'm going to ask Koba, because I don't want to have that little fact.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be like really, really foot in mouth. Right? Excuse me, but what are you?
Yeah.
I do that with
Koba's
all the
sort of
diplomacy that I've got at the
uh,
moment.
You know what? You're better at the African pronunciations than me, so that is what they are called.
Ngombe.
Okay, she's no, that's okay.
It's
Yeah,
Ngombe.
It's yes, that's
Ngombe.
it. Ngombe.
Ngombe.
Thank you.
So wait, did we ask her that? And was she okay giving that information?
Koba. Rowan asked Koba.
Yeah.
So yes, that would be the species name for the zebra
That's
centaurs.
the name of the species.
Yeah, her name is Ole Kali or Oloi Kali.
Aloye Kali, but Aloye is the
Yeah,
title.
and Ngombe is her species.
Look at all these words.
Let's make a half gnome, half.
I've enjoyed
right now.
the setting, if you hadn't been able to tell.
Yeah.
Okay, I do my best to not be shocked by this revelation, and we just walk forward, I guess.
Yeah. She leads you through, and the doors are indeed big enough for Rowan.
Yay.
And she does actually look up at Rowan and say, I have never seen one such as you on this continent, my large friend. May I ask where you are from?
Give me a second because I'm eating.
All
Okay.
From what?
Susan needs feeding.
But no, she just,
I mean-
well, that's...
There is a local celebrity in Hull that is like, I think 6'7" he is. He's a big musician, dude.
Okay.
So maybe. I'm pretty sure I was taller than 6'7" though.
Rowan is 12 feet. I'm from a distant land. I can't remember what name I gave it. I'm from a distant desert land, part of a tribe of Shobhad.
Ah, it is well that we have others as large as you and might not be able to bring you through to see the speaker.
Yay.
Proceeding through the building, you can see there are some interesting things here. There are Kawinda going about their business, there's humans, there's the Milele elves that you met on the road, and there's not just the zebra centaurs. In fact, at one point your little procession needs to stop while a pair of incredibly tall, lanky figures that look similar to Cawley, but their lower halves are not simply horse-shaped, but they are gigantic, mottled in brown and orange.
Giraffe.
Draft.
This is basically like going to like London Zoo.
Yeah. Hey, I'm walking here.
Oh god, I'm going to picture them all with really thick New York accents now.
And
Because antelope,
eventually
ibex and
you do reach alcove that leads off into another wing of the palace that seems to be decorated with furs, skulls, and battle trophies.
Oh, the new WoW expansion.
I'm
Okay,
so
that
glad
was
I
Very
fun.
wasn't
quick
drinking when you
Baron's chat. It's always the same Baron's chat.
Okay, I assume this is. I asked Cobra, is this the place, or whoever's leading us all the way?
Yes,
Like,
yes. This is the section of the This is the section of the palace that is set aside for the Kawinda people.
I love
Can
what
I
they
It
do
is
fit
here
with
that we
this.
will. No, at this point you actually still can, because the entire building has been built to allow any species to go in and established.
It's like a
I worry
forum in
it's
here.
like those buildings you get. They're like really old, but then they have a new extension, but the extension isn't always the same height. I
That's
was
fair.
worried it was going to be one of those.
Okay. As you proceed inside, you see a greatly increased number of Kawinda,
Oh,
and in the end, you are brought in front of a large set of double doors that your guide knocks on respectfully. Whoever so is providing the gift, please move to the front. It will be expected to be the first thing that is passed through.
Ah, I
Did we
get to
bring
be
in with
the
us?
representative.
Did we bring him with us?
Okay.
I'm bringing in my my flask of whiskey and one of my halfling rations to lay out as basically a sampling of fine halfling cuisine.
Okay. The door opens, and inside, sat behind a very interesting table that seems to be made primarily out of bones,
Oh god.
Wow.
Charlie.
specifically
Nice
wildlife.
place.
They look like wildlife bones, although given the nature of the people you've seen around here, that's perhaps not indicative of anything.
I mean, if it is, I think I'm gonna like her.
You've changed, Mr. Civilization.
Hey, if they like to hunt and kill weaker prey, son,
Yes.
they're all right in my books.
You realize that you would be counted as one of those weaker prey, right?
Ah!
Not with my gun.
So yes,
But
sat
without your
behind
gun.
it is very nearly a grey-furred female Kawinda,
Little old lioness.
and she seems to be looking at you judgmentally,
Don't
as
blame
if to
her.
say, "Well, let's hear it."
Loktor Ogama, dudes.
I try to hide behind a potted plant but fail because I'm huge.
Were we given a title to refer to her by?
Yes, her title is Pack Speaker.
Pack speaker.
That's the translation. And the
Well,
name is
I'll,
Nolwazi, which I will put in the chat for you.
Thank you.
I'll keep Koba close by to translate, as I say.
Yes.
Greetings, noble and esteemed pack speaker, and a courteous bow, boss.
Yep.
We bring a gift of our native cuisine for you, in the hopes that it tickles your fancy.
Curry's your favourite.
And
So,
I'll hand the stuff to Koba to spread on the table for her.
yeah, Koba takes it and hands it onto the table. Nolwazi does seem to completely ignore the halfling rations. But
I
is
thought so.
You
That
can't
is
even give them away.
I mean, you did already note that they were entirely carnivorous.
I know, but there's some meat in there.
But does
I would
show
thought they'd like halfling sausage.
is interested in the flask. She picks it up, unscrews the top, sniffs, and then proceeds to drain it in one go.
Wow.
Well, there goes my supply.
She then nods approvingly and says something in the native language that Koba translates to, "This is a fine liquid. I will accept it as your gift, short one. You and your friends may enter and speak."
Yeah, I'll turn and wave the rest in, if they wish to.
Yeah, I tentatively move forward to the bone desk.
Pick you up and carry you off. Let's go.
Yeah,
Places to be, things to do.
yeah. I, in passing, say I love what they've done with the place.
Koba does translate this without really thinking.
Yeah, it's fine, as long as it doesn't sound
And
sarcastic.
Nolwazi actually gives you a gracious nod. And she's...
Well, I
the
like
pack-
Nolwazi. Me and Nolwazi are going to be fucking great mates. I love this.
Aesthetic.
And her main thing that she has to say now that you're here is she gestures to a large number of seats that are arrayed against the wall that you may take them as you see fit and bring them in front of the table. And while you're doing this, she does ring a bell. And another Kawinda, and this one is not like one you have ever seen before.
Ooh.
Because
Made
this
of
is a
skulls.
male, but he appears to be dressed as a human, or at least in the human equivalent that you've seen locally, this being the body armor and a cloak across his shoulders,
Ooh,
Interesting.
in addition to having one of the biggest swords you've ever seen
like a
across
buster
his back,
sword.
with a handle that appears to be made out of something's thigh bone.
Oh
Something
dear.
big.
Well then, I vote we don't fuck with the guy.
So you know how they always said don't walk directly into the lion's den?
We've just done that.
No,
You're gonna walk
no,
directly into the lion's den, aren't you?
notice what we've done.
I greet the guy and I say, "Hello, Squall."
He nods silently and produces from under his voluminous cloak a bottle and a number of very small glasses,
Yeah.
one of which is laid out in front of all of you and filled with the clear liquid from the glass.
I want to do body shots of the
Vial.
zebra.
Back on wine, back on wine.
Yeah,
I hesitant
Oh, I'm definitely having
walk
some
over and
because I
sit
took
on
all
the
my
floor.
whiskey.
Nolwazi picks up hers and holds it expectantly, looking at the rest of you.
I want to roll.
I'll
What
raise
is
one.
this stuff?
I hesitantly walk over and sit on the floor.
I
because-
absolutely get ready to drink this shit. 100%.
What the fuck is this stuff?
Yeah, back to
seeing
the
that-
uni days of downing it.
Well, to be fair, each thing is about the size of a shot glass for a real life measure, so
Well,
there
yeah.
you go.
I ask Koba if there's any particular custom for drinking this stuff.
Kobe just says that it's traditional that everyone drinks theirs at the same time.
Oh, okay, maybe mine isn't gone yet then. Maybe I'll wait.
Yeah.
I like go to
I
do it and
pick
then
up a
hear
glass
that
and
then
take
I'm
a
like,
sniff of it.
I try.
Okay, it smells very interesting to you, Levy.
Oh boy.
Like,
chemicals.
to you, this smells like something you'd brew up.
Just while I'm grabbing like a fork, assume that I drink it when I'm told.
Okay. So is everyone ready to down their drinks?
What am I? What is this?
Well,
We're
you
We're
know
gonna
it's a
find
potion.
out. We're going on a trip, guard. We're gonna find out.
I'm hesitantly sat on the floor and I'm
What is
probably holding it between my finger and thumb because it
I wonder if it's like distilled with amber in it. That would be interesting.
would be terrifying.
Can I ask a question quickly?
Yes.
Do I recognise this as the thing that I drank in the last week when it was the stuff that allows us to speak to each other?
Give it a sniff and give me a perception. Yeah, 21 will do it. It is absolutely the same shit going by the smell.
Okay. Well, let's all down
I'm
it.
happy then.
Take a shot.
I wonder if this is even going to work on someone of my size, but I try anyway.
Okay, so when everyone's ready, everyone in the room takes their drinks, and you all feel a slight ringing in your ears, but the next time Nolwazi speaks, you understand her perfectly.
What
Hey.
about me, considering I'm huge?
Hey.
This shit's a Deus Ex
Um,
Machina.
Magic potions really don't actually say anything about scaling up for the dosage. It's weird like that.
Okay.
It's magic.
I think it's one of those off-sites in the D&D rules.
Please assume it works.
Her voice translated through the potion sounds weirdly guttural to you, like the mouth that is speaking is not designed to speak your language. Just like from the ground up, it's not designed to make these syllables. But your brain is doing its best to translate them.
Thank you, brain.
The wine of the diplomats, they call it. The thing that has allowed our confederation of species to prosper. What do you think of it?
Rad.
It is
Tasty.
distilled from the leaves of the great Karahabu itself.
Ah.
Called it.
It's excellent. Does anyone have anything I can dip in this?
No!
No, bad.
Use it as a marinade.
So,
It is nice. Imagine I said something more compelling.
So, what can the warriors of the Kawinda do for the outsiders from across the sea?
Am I taking this?
You're
Yeah.
an implementer.
Okay. We humbly request that you stop your raids and attacks on Fortune's Landing. It's making it very difficult for us to assess the land, and I think it'd be very beneficial if you could stop doing that. We are being ransacked basically daily, and it's just difficult, really. It's becoming
Ah.
ish.
You refer to the settlement on the coast.
The very same.
It may be difficult.
See, would you like to elaborate? Is that okay?
Yes, I speak for our people, but I cannot give them orders. I am here as their voice, and I can aid in entreaties, but I cannot demand that they cease their aggression. Our people's way is by the consensus of the strongest, and our strongest leader
Pretty tough name, huh?
Thank
Speaking for the people, do you know why they're attacking landing?
Yes. We of the Kawinda are people who hold land and territory to be sacred. Your people landed in our land and took the trees and built without asking permission.
That's
It is
the
therefore our tradition that they be returned to the sea for this crime.
That sounds fair to me.
Makes sense. You don't want someone walking into your front room and demanding stuff.
It may be possible that if your people would be willing to give something, that the land could be given and that matters could be resolved. But first, I sense that the hostilities would need to cease.
So something like
Absolutely.
trade, maybe?
There's no way we can make amends until you stop attacking the landing.
Unfortunately, as I said, our people follow the strongest of our
Well, then
kind.
your
and
strongest needs to understand that for him to reclaim his land back, he must stop the bloodshed. And if
How
you,
would we communicate with the strongest?
by becoming the strongest?
His
Yeah.
name is Kagabu.
Ah, yes, the same one who's wanting to unite the tribes for war.
Yes, he in particular took offense to the settlement that you call Fortune's Landing and went around uniting the tribes by battling the other leaders so that they would follow him and form an army. If you can persuade him to stand down, then I'm sure that we could reach a negotiation. We are not
Guessing
a
we could
hostile
fight.
people by nature, but we do take our traditions seriously.
I can relate to that and respect it.
However, we would ask for returns from your people were we to give you the land. You would need to either provide us or prove to us, I would say, that you are worthy of the land and that we will gain something from letting you have it.
So an act of trade.
Trade, exactly. Trade would be
The
most agreeable if you have anything to
company.
sell.
We shall see. We shall talk
I could
to the
interject here with a very tempting offer.
Yes.
In our homeland, in Absalom, across the sea, I'm from one of but many noble houses, all with untold riches between them. So Fortune's Landing would serve as a very good trading post to funnel some of those riches into Kirinyaga.
Or of that delicious liquid, perhaps?
Exactly. And anything else, we have our wonderful weaponry, as we have here. Yeah.
Your weaponry, it seems to be naught but a metal tube.
Oh, I could have... No, it's too evil. Can I potentially end...
No.
Just like, allow me to demonstrate on this here hostage.
Please do not
No.
declare
No!
I'm not
I
going
would
to-
We were
physically
doing
get in
so
the way of the
well.
bullet, and
As-
then you would lose.
As much as I'd love to play through an episode of
Okay.
Strike Back, I would
I-
really rather not.
Going back into character,
Yes.
I'd be delighted to show you how it works in the field, but it's too dangerous to demonstrate in here.
I
Close
see.
quarters and whatnot.
So you would bring us more of your alcohol that is pleasing and your weaponry? The Kawinda are very fond of both.
That sounds extremely fair if you're able to
Are
see.
we really going to weaponize this continent?
Fine.
Is that
They
in
already have
character?
weapons. We're just giving them more.
That's
not
in
my
character.
problem.
Guys, that's in character, by the way.
Are we really going to weaponize these people? Like, is that what we're here to do?
Oh, it's not a primary goal, but if it's what they want, we can
I mean,
provide
your
it.
goal is to explore and map the land.
Can I just say really quickly, and I don't want to get all druidy here,
That's kind of your job.
but you know, these people, they took. I say these people, our people. They took the land and killed the trees and made a settlement. I mean,
Yes.
I'm completely honest with you guys. At the moment, I'm allied to these new people we've met. Like, it makes sense to me that they
That's true.
want to attack the town and get their stuff back. I don't understand. Like, why are we even on Fortune's Landing side in this?
We're not. We're trying to stop bloodshed.
I mean, I'm on Fortune's Landing side because of previous alliances, backstories.
We're not here to pick a side. We're literally here to stop people from dying and map the land.
As
As
much as the building of Fortune's Landing was an affront to them, we weren't aware of their customs and didn't realise that it was. So why don't
Foreign
we
ignorance.
like agree to set up this trade stuff if we can secure the
Well,
cooperation of both sides
So
and just
the
try
way
and appease the matter rather than tell our guys to fuck off back home.
I mean, it's not like they can go back home because the culture funding them sort of imploded.
Shh, don't tell them that.
Oops.
So, as I can see here, it's the druid is thinking, fuck these settlers, they don't really need to be here anyway.
Not so much that, more that people are destroying the land for their own gain. What do we have from Fortune's Landing? Like, what are they actually trying to do there? Like, is it just literally just to set up a port? Because it seems to me that when you set up a port, that means more cities, which means more towns, which means more destruction of the landscape.
Well, I should clarify that what was meant by destruction of the land was that they cut down the trees in the immediate areas of the houses. It's not like they're on a deforesting campaign.
Okay.
I mean, if we make it abundantly clear to them that this is like the Lion people's land and that they are to expand,
It expands
fair.
without permission, as it
Yeah.
were.
They just
if
sort of,
they'd be here basically on the benevolence of these native people, and if they want to do anything, they should be running it by them.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds logical.
Mhm.
That sounds fair. That's how people want to do it.
Okay, so where are we up to with this deal? There's
The
no
pack
point-
speaker cannot call off the war. She doesn't have that level of authority, but she's told you how you might be able to go about it.
We need to speak to
this big boy.
the people of Fortune's Landing, whoever is in charge, and we need to somehow speak to Gabu after that.
Kagabu, yes. The pack speaker can help you with that at least.
Yes?
She reaches into one of the recesses in the bone desk and pulls out a amber token carved with several things that you can't read. This is my personal seal. It will, at the very least, mean that Kagabu is at least honored to speak with you, rather than kill you outright if you show him this.
Out of character, but can I use that to ask the captive his fucking name?
The captive?
I said it's out of character.
You wouldn't know that out of character.
I'm saying out of character. Can I use the seal to ask the Coinda captive what his name is?
And I am saying there is no way that you would information. Like, I am not going to answer that one way or another because you understand me.
Plot stuff.
Yes. Anyway, I'll go back to shutting up.
It's okay. You don't need to shut up. So, yeah, you've been given the pack speaker's token.
I'll hold on to that.
Is there anything anyone wants to discuss with her before you depart?
Where is this Kabu?
I kind of want to talk to the guy who gave us that potion and just sort of,
Can I
you
get
know,
a few of those?
could I perhaps get a sample from him?
Yeah, if you ask him that in character, he does. And he says, of course, the wine of speech is free to all who walk within the city. And he says that he's not going to give you any of his personal supply, but if you ask Cawley on the way out, you can be provided.
Works for me.
I have to ask the park speaker as well, what creatures were killed to make the furniture, and where do they graze? Because they look like good sport.
The great beasts of the savannah, you will find many of them in the plains, both west and south of our land. There are
Wonderful.
creatures even larger than your friend here, and indicates Rowan. There are beasts so large that your dear friend Rowan could ride them as a man would ride a horse.
Dun, dun, dun.
I don't want to be here anymore. I would prefer to go back to the land of the small people. Where I don't risk getting stepped on. I'm still scared of the desk of bones. Can I go back to the potted plant, please?
Yes, Rowan, you may return to the potted plant.
I return to the potted plant.
There is currently a 12-foot person trying to hide behind a 3-foot potted plant.
Hug the
Doesn't
plant.
work out that well,
I'm
does
not
it?
doing very well, but if
That's
the
like-
bone desk can't see me, I can't see it.
Have we,
Lay around.
have we given
know what
them
I
the
mean.
captive?
Oh yeah, you never really told her about... Well, you told her that you had one of their people.
I mean,
She,
yeah,
she
this
didn't
is
seem
a place
bothered
to
enough
get
to
rid.
ask. Okay.
Yeah, her response is that I would take him in here, but did you not take him from one of I
Kagabu.
regret that name choice.
Big boys.
Kagabu's war parties.
No idea. Here, take him.
He was ransacking a wagon.
The fact that if you take him with you to see Kagabu, you will at the very least be proving that you are a match to his warriors. That will carry some weight.
Ah,
Awesome.
That is the Kawinda way. We respect strength and martial art.
Perfect.
fair enough. No business of yours shall be coming with us then.
I have to keep the inner machinations of my mind silent, or else I'll get kicked out of the diplomacy halls.
Is it to feed him more toes?
No, it's like, they respect strength, do they?
Oh no.
I'm about to go, like, full-on African warlord on this campaign if I can.
No!
Okay.
I mean, you do have an alchemist on backup who can alchemize a lot of shit for a warlord.
Sorry. We'll find the nurseries and
I'm
we'll
not
arm
saying
the
I'm
children.
okay with it, but the thing is, I mean, if you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours.
Good old. I love having a pragmatist on the team.
Damascus, may I just ask?
Yes.
Not you, you're the DM.
Oh.
Why are we doing this for Fortune's Landing? Do we give that much of a shit?
Yeah,
You?
I agree.
I mean, it helps to, keep the peace a bit.
Yes, but only for the simple reason that it is a base of operations. That's the only reason I give a shit.
Not my fucking problem.
We're not.
We don't-
If that's
We're
if Fortune's
traveling.
Landing isn't there
We're
anymore,
exploration mission.
how do we get home?
Point.
What, how do we get home off this island?
Yeah,
Assume we find the coast and sail.
with what boat? The boat's at Fortune's Landing. The boat will get burnt down with the city if we don't keep it safe.
Let's just live here.
I see it as like the
Are you really saying that to God?
Okay.
the cogs
In
of
this land of
society-
savages?
Never mind.
Sorry.
The
Go ahead.
cogs of society do this all the time. If we can find some way of peace to stop them from potentially murdering each other, then that helps.
That'd be really, really great.
Yeah, but we're talking about giving these guys access to weapons. Have you ever seen... Oh, I guess Africa doesn't exist in this world.
You're in this world's Africa.
Just trust me. We are going to arm the wrong people. They're going to end up taking over. And what little society this place has
I mean,
is going
no
to
one
crumble into ash.
no
You are
one
forgetting
explicit-
where I am from!
You're also explicit. No one explicitly said you had to give them guns to make this work. No one explicitly said that.
Oh, I thought it was part of the deal, seeing as both parties said weaponry.
Yeah,
I mean,
but they just said weaponry.
Weaponry is a thing, but it doesn't necessarily mean gun. Bear in mind that
Also,
guns
you're
are
forgetting-
rare even where you're from. Like, gunpowder's only really just become a thing.
So
Where'd
what
Jim
they
go
all
for?
I'm from Pathfinder Sahara, basically, so you are telling me that I do not know what the people of my land, essentially, would do with weapons.
Yeah, basically. Because if
You are
did
telling me
know,
this.
you would
Why are
be
you telling me
so
this?
opposed to this?
We of the Showpad have rifles,
have cannons.
and we don't do much with them, because we are a tribal nation.
Boom.
Okay, that's rookie
But
shit. But
that,
alright.
that,
It
is,
was
that is what I'm taking
Just to
issue with.
clear it up with you and Island, like everyone else, it is not cut and dry that you must give them guns. That is not explicit.
I
Weaponry is
think
not
so. I don't give-
stuck to
I don't
just
give a-
guns.
What are we giving them anything for? We're here to map the land. And now we're like, I mean, okay,
I'm
whatever.
just waiting for the mists to
awkward
take me
hanging
again.
silence. The death in the air.
To break
As the one who
break
is actually
kayfabe
mapping the
here,
land,
side quest.
What?
as the one who is actually mapping the land, I think it would be easier for me to map the land if I'm not, avoiding being killed every 3 hours.
Alright, that's a good point. Let's roll.
I suppose you can always just put it to a vote within the party: is do you want to intercede in this, yes or no?
Yes.
Don't care.
I'm
Plus,
going to
I
write
get
a song
reward.
called The Prime Directive. I'm willing to be swayed on, whatever. I follow the will of my people.
I'm technically
I trust the
trackless.
decision of the party overall.
Yeah, forget it came to a vote. Let's roll.
Okay. Has anyone else got anything they want to do before you move on out of here? Or are we good with the pack speaker now?
Yeah, just ask for that potion on the way out. That's about it.
I would like to ask for a hug, but I worry about getting mauled by the bone desk.
Okay, so no hugs this time.
Yeah.
If I try and scare the
the
bone
bone
desk away from you by
No.
waving my arms.
The bone desk will eat me.
I'm sitting on the bone
I don't
desk.
Want to be near it. No.
Wait,
You are the
you are-
bone desk.
I am the
Get
bone
off of the bone desk, it will hurt you.
Hang on.
I
Poke,
don't
poke,
want
poke.
you to be hurt.
Don't eat the giant lady. Okay, he won't.
I mean, I could. I
Just so you know, Nawalzi is looking very confused at the elf who is currently poking her table.
I'm not an elf. What gave you that idea?
Okay, not elf, human who is currently poking her table. Also, the name Ethril sounds elfish.
I'm sorry. I don't know where I got that name from, so.
I come out from behind the potted plant and hesitantly come over and offer a hug as a sign of greeting and peace from my people.
Nawali accept.
Yeah.
He gave a tickle behind the ears.
Okay, so as you're on the way out, Carly is leading you out, and as promised, she does provide you with what appears to be essentially a litre bottle of the wine of speech.
Nice.
Let's get
Can I
sloshed.
get a hug from her too?
Yes, she's willing to accept a hug.
Yay!
Doesn't quite know what it's all about, but she's willing to accept a hug.
I hug.
Hug party.
Congratulations, you have now hugged a zebra person.
Yay! I can just tick that off of the species list. Tick.
Hug.
Tick.
Okay, gang, you have some information, you still have a prisoner, you have a bottle of speech wine, and you have the world at your fingertips.
Yes! I
Did
wanna
anybody
take all
think
the
to ask
shines.
of where we'd find Kagawa?
Fuck!
I guess follow the carnage.
For the record, no, you did not ask where you'd actually find him.
I'm going back in and I'm asking.
No, by the way,
Oh wait.
You asked it out. You definitely said out loud, "Where can we find this guy?"
Oh, but no one listened.
But I think it
because
was drowned out with everyone else. Yeah.
everyone's
Okay, I
talking about
apologise.
the
In that case-
Trash.
You did get an answer to that question, and it was that the war camp moves around, but that your prisoner will be able to lead you to it.
Oh, more reliance on the nobody. I'm gonna take all his toes.
and I'm gonna punch you in the face!
I mean, I'm hopefully when I ask him nicely this time, he'll actually listen instead of being, a
I mean,
bitch.
he knows the situation now. You've dragged him to the big city. You went to speak to his species' main diplomat. He pretty much knows the score.
Good.
In fact, the first thing he does when he gets back, translated through Koba, is ask to be untied now.
No.
No. Can we keep him on a lead but untie his hands? Would he accept that?
Hold on.
No, we can't.
Let me see if I can. No, probably not. I was going to sense motive, but I probably wouldn't roll high enough.
I could try.
I mean, we don't want to have to, hog tie him. He should at least be walking.
I give it a go. I sense motive.
As near as you can tell, he seems pretty, relaxed, a lot more relaxed than he was.
So he's just like a resignated sigh.
And, Ethril, you have a very nice roll that allows you to see that his attitude changed the minute that he saw the amber carved token in Araya's hand.
Yeah, it's in my pocket now. I've got hold of it.
He became he seemed to relax basically when he saw that you had the Pack Speaker's token.
Yep.
Then I say yes. We untie his hands.
I say, Aiden, take aim, and just so he knows, if he makes a single foot wrong,
Oh, yeah,
we are going to be hanging him on the wall.
I can keep my
God.
gun trained on him most of the time, but we'll untie him at least.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
he does not make any trouble as you untie him.
Right, lion
will
bro.
he give me his name now?
Yes, he will.
Yes.
His name is Jazar.
Jafar.
Thank you. Thank you, Jafar. It is nice to meet you.
You killed my brothers.
I'm sorry.
We are very sorry about that, Jizir. It will never happen again.
Well, of course it's not going to happen again. Because they're
It
dead.
will probably
It might
happen
happen again.
To be fair, I did kill one, but I was trying to protect my friends.
Friend!
He actually laughs when you panic and says, and Koba translates that, he says your people are too easy to fool. His brothers died well, and that he is proud of you. He asks that if you are to seek out the Great War League.
Yes, we are.
He nods and says, when you are done in the city, I will be happy to take you to him so that he can split your skulls.
That's fair.
He will not have much luck with mine. Mine is quite thick.
Sounds like somebody's hungry again.
Oh, no.
I mean, you were just told this was a warlike culture, so, what did you expect? Hugs and kisses?
I feel like an absolute idiot specking into magical instruments now. Oh, here comes Cawley with the tuba.
Blows mind with a loot solo.
I mean, to be fair, the Kawinda are not the only species on the continent.
Yes.
As we have seen.
Like, you don't need to resolve all confrontations by I-cast fist.
Yeah, I know.
And hugs.
Still look.
Well, hugs are
Here I come with my fucking moog.
Behold the accordion of my people. Oh, lordy do. Right, so are we going to explore the city some more, or were we making post-haste to deal with the side quest, as it were?
Yum.
I'm going to remember what is... Is there anywhere we haven't been?
Everywhere else.
Uh,
We've
do you-
been to the Great Palace, we've been to the Angleworks.
Haven't been
Did we go to the market yet? I don't remember.
in the street
There's
of
the market on the Street of Plenty, and we've been to the Temple of Enkai.
Okay, I say we go to the Street of Plenty and see what's going on there. That's like
Okay.
you said it's a market.
I take it
Well,
Araya
there's a
told
market
Rowan.
and there's the Street of Plenty. They're listed as
Okay.
two separate things on the map.
Okay.
I take it
I
Araya
know what I
told
want
Rowan
to do
about the
first. If you
statue.
guys want to do your other thing, just let me know.
Okay, so you're all proceeding to explore the Street of Plenty, and it's interesting,
Well, it's
Ooh.
plentiful.
because as near as you can tell, there are three basic things here. People who deal in money, people who deal in amber, and sex workers.
My favourite currency.
I mean,
Let me
Can I-
convert
I've seen the
these-
variety of species, and there are prostitutes of every gender
Let me
and species
convert my
to be
gold
seen on the Street of Plenty.
into a hate crime. No, into a ass transaction.
Albion,
Yes,
I'm assuming there haven't been many other halflings around, right? Yep.
you have not seen a single halfling.
Can I offer to suck dick to fill my flask with whiskey again?
Okay, I'm going to require you to performance to drawing No, I'm going to require you to roll diplomacy to drawing customers and then performance to see if it works.
To see how well you do.
Suck that thick
Don't forget your
Aiden
Next
like
time.
thick bitch.
Oh, yeah, with the +2.
This is a druid-assisted gobble.
I got a
Come
question.
on, come all. Rare exotic booty from the
Come on down to
I am
Pussy
not
Town.
going to go into detail on this, but yes, you find a client.
Sweet. And then I perform.
I have a question. Did Araya ever tell Rowan about the statue?
Yeah.
Oh god.
We'll do a quick slob.
Hang on. Can I just roll to see if it was me in disguise?
Yes,
It-
roll an opposed disguise check.
It is not proud, but he does need his whiskey.
Just let me roll on my character sheet. I'm a little behind you. What am I rolling?
Roll disguise, and then
Nice.
Fuzz rolls perception.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's whoever rolls highest. Oh, that's a 25.
Good luck, Jim.
P25. 20.
God.
Bam.
Yes. Just as you are finishing, the client's robe is thrown back and it is revealed to be Araya on stilts.
It was me, alright.
It was me all along, Aiden.
I mean, you know what the worst thing is? I don't know why I like stooped to do that myself. I forgot entirely about a bumbu.
Well done. Well done, you.
I should have just picked a bumbu
Can't
out.
breathe.
What are the chances that these two are going to be a romantic couple by the end of the entire campaign?
I'm
No,
calling it
now
now.
that we took a mild diversion for Aiden to give Araya a goggy,
I
And he's going to
shoot
get
shots.
money to go and get my whiskey back. Yeah.
that's just it. You aren't paid because it is Araya.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
Because, payment afterwards. And it was your own teammate.
Yeah, fork over the money. He's still got to pay me.
Yeah. I was actually gonna busk to get some money with an accordion, but
Little
then this
shits,
happened.
Literally.
Okay, well,
Oh
so
my fucking
busk away. It makes more sense than becoming a mini prostitute who doesn't need the
Little
meal.
gigolo.
Oh my accordion.
Oh,
Rowan's upset.
Are you okay there?
Oh.
money dealing, is that GP?
Hang on.
There is no GP as far as you can see.
I've still got all this money and I can't use it.
Just hang on.
We exchange? I don't know.
So I'm not usable here because I can't exactly do any of that work.
I got a question, which I'd mentioned 3 times already. Did Araya ever tell Rowan about the 4-armed statue? Because the noises that...
No.
Hang on, I'm going to busk using this.
Oh boy.
Roll
fucking
performance.
EastEnders.
Why is this
Nah.
such a fucking life?
Everyone will suck his cock.
I didn't know stole my phone.
So this is what it comes down to.
It's pretty
Don't earn
rubbish.
a lot, but a few people do throw the local coinage at you, and this is the first time you've had a good look at it.
I don't even look at it, I just give it to Aiden and we never speak of what happened again.
Yep.
Congratulations,
let's-
Aiden. The local coins appear to be gold in that they are... Okay, so let me describe this. You know how the £2 coin looks in
Oh,
England?
it's got the little middle and silver. Well, actually, the £1 coins do the same as well. They just...
Yeah, but it's about the size of a £2 coin. It's got gold around the outside and a core of amber.
Ooh.
Cool.
I want one of
And
those
you
in real
currently
life.
have 5 of those. So if you mark them down as 5 amber coins.
I don't know what I could do to get money because
You could try taking your money to the money lenders.
they tell me to fuck off.
Didn't you say there
I
was a
mean,
stall
the
dealing
fact
in
that I
GP?
suggested you might be able to suggests that's not the case.
Okay, I do it.
Okay, so you take over the coins.
I have
How many gold?
140.
140. Okay, are you giving them all to the money lender?
I give 60.
Okay, you give him 6. So what this man does is he takes one of the coins and he seems genuinely... He's like, oh, this is...
This is
He then asks a question which Koba translates to, are these pure gold?
Yes.
He then tests that by dropping one of them in a small alchemical flask. He appears happy at the result when it starts foaming, and then proceeds to scoop all of the coins off the table and hands you... let me see, what was the exchange rate? So you gave 60, yes?
Yes.
You now have 120 amber coins.
Can I do that with
Hey.
half my muns? I've got
I have
120
120.
gold. I'll take in 60. How many amber coins they're going to get me?
Sorry, how many gold pieces are you handing over?
60.
Man, I spent everything before we started. I was like, I was asking people to chip in on the wagon because I was
I've only got
out
9.
of dosh.
I've got 9 gold.
You guys were holding out on
Yeah.
me.
So the exchange rate is 2 for 1. So every gold coin you hand over gets you 2 amber.
Oh, 120.
Nice.
Nice.
But the exchange rate works out. So if you want to buy anything that's listed on the SRD, simply double the gold piece cost for the exchange rate.
Okay. Are there any shops in this place? Or is that just the market?
You'd need to go to the market for shops unless you're particularly interested in exotic amber goods or prostitutes right now.
What's on the exotic amber goods?
Oh, interesting you should ask. There is a lot of jewelry. There is a number of ornamental weapons.
Shiny.
There appears to be craftsmen hard at work. And what was the last thing? Here it is, yes. Clothing.
What? I take interest in the clothing. Is there anything in my size?
There actually is, and it appears to be that the shop in question is being run by one of the very large giraffe centaurs that you saw.
Yay!
I'm
And
still
you're
sort of climbing
actually
on
on an eye level with them.
Yes! Hello, friends! Same height!
And they nod to you, and Koba translates that, how may we serve you today, esteemed giant woman?
I am looking at the clothing. What is the selection?
It appears to be, so what you've mainly seen the people are wearing is that over the human parts of their torso that are on the top of the neck, they're wearing these long shawls. And this stall appears to mainly have those kind of shawls decorated with amber beading and similar accoutrement set into various wools or silks.
How much for one?
Are you looking at one of the woolen ones or one of the silk?
Silk.
The silk ones, Koba translates as 100. The wool is translated as 70.
I will come back after we've been to the market. Because they sound great, but I do only have a certain amount.
Okay, be happy and wishes you a good day.
Good day to you too, friend.
It's all friends.
I will probably end up getting one of those because I do have GP left to transfer. But we shall see.
Yeah.
No, nothing set in stone yet. Is everybody done at the Street of Plenty? Are you done fucking each other?
That's a good question, Aiden, before the ever sucking.
You know what? I need to,
Are
I need to,
you,
I need to put
I'm
that in the
done airing
highlights.
your whiskey.
Yeah. If my
What,
flask's
Mariah's
filled,
whiskey?
I'm good. I can stop.
Well, consider the exchange rate. Yeah, you can buy some local liquor to put in it, but they don't have anything you'd recognize as whiskey.
Nah, close enough.
So you have local rain alcohol.
Did that cost me all 5 of my coins?
It did. They gave you 5 coins worth of it.
Sweet.
Oh.
Was that enough to fill my flask, or was it more than that?
It filled about half your flask.
Right. I mean, I best have a swig now and get the taste of dick out of my mouth.
What you're drinking is interesting and not unpleasant to you. It tastes, in your experience of alcohols from your own land, somewhere between white wine and vodka in flavour.
Oh,
Doesn't
okay.
sound very pleasant.
Pretty broad spectrum there, buddy.
Yeah, that is pretty weird. Like vinegary vodka.
Yeah, kind of like it's sour but in a pleasant
Right.
and has the undertones of alcohol that you would expect. So, is anyone else acquiring these services of or being one of the local service providers?
Do you want me to-
No.
No, I'm alright.
I'm good. I could do with a nap, to be honest, after the seeing to I received.
Oh, actually,
I don't think anyone would take me.
Albion, did I ever figure out an alchemical way of making contraceptives?
Oh yeah.
Oh, God.
Yes,
This
you
was got
did.
fucking
Why do you
Right.
ask?
Because I imagine in a place like this, that would actually be a really good ware to have, and would probably be
Okay.
highly.
You want to brew up because it's a potion that it's essentially the equivalent of the morning pill as an alchemical potion.
Yeah, because I imagine as a prostitute, it would be a good thing to have in case of emergency.
I mean, how do you propose to sell it to them once you've brewed it? Are you going to get like Koba to do the advertising?
I mean, seeing as I have a sample of that, it wouldn't be terribly hard to reverse engineer that, seeing as I'm an alchemist.
Oh yeah, you can dedicate a couple of hours to reverse engineering the wine of speech.
Yeah,
Which
That's
is
not a potion of comprehend languages, by the way.
which I
That's
assume is what that
essentially
actually
it
is.
is in outside the local dialect, like they distill potion of comprehend language from this tree.
Yeah,
So essentially, you now know the recipe for potion.
Yep.
As well as your safe sex potion, or whatever
Yeah.
you want to name your own invention.
I mean, wouldn't that more than an actual potion be more of an alchemical item?
Yeah, pretty much.
Just
It's however. you
warning
want
after
to-
swig. I don't know.
If you're going to be selling contraceptives, then in using Koba as your translator for that, I will look around and try and help.
I mean, may as well.
Yeah.
See what we can get out of it.
Okay, well, how much do you have to sell first and foremost?
I would assume I would have to roll craft to figure that out.
Yes.
You would indeed.
Right. What would the craft DC for this be?
It has a craft DC of 12.
Yeah, okay. That's not terrible.
It's a pretty basic potion.
Yeah, fair enough.
Should we go and do something else instead of
I'm
talking about dick all
roll
day?
for that.
I know it's weird, Nat. I'm just
I'm going to roll to try to craft the goods.
Could we not just onwards with the main quest?
Right, Live,
Money.
you do your stuff in your free time. Everyone else just like...
It's too harsh and poor beans is pure ears.
Jesus Christ.